Welcome back, witches, to Books and Running with Fish. Today, we are manifesting only good reading energy. We're not going to have any reading slumps, no disappointments. This is my 2026 5-star predictions. We're going to do half 2026 releases and then half backlist books on my TBR. But because it's me, we're also going to pair them with the perfect running vibe for each book. The first one is going to be The Book Witch by Megan Chafe. Follows a librarian who finds a magical book that is capable of rewriting fate, but every change comes with consequences that no one can predict. From everything I've seen and heard, this points more toward personal, intimate magic versus really flashy, over-the-top magic. It appears to focus on choices and regret and the stories we tell ourselves to survive the lives we're living. Definitely feels like it's going to have a cozy, whimsical atmosphere, but with a definite darker emotional undercurrent underneath, and that feels like a great combo. This feels like a cozy winter running pairing, cold air, foggy breath, and knowing you're heading home to something warm, witchy, and slightly dangerous. The next one is Doe by Rebecca Barrow. This feels like exactly my kind of quiet, emotional dread read. This is following a woman who's trying to reinvent herself with a new identity. However, her past keeps catching up to her. Definitely feels like it's going to lean more into atmosphere and character rather than the big over-the-top plot twist. Be a little bit more introspective, more tension that feels subtle but constant. Very living in the stillness of chaos is how I imagine this book's going to go. That very heavy psychological dread and emotional undercurrent is definitely something that works for me, and that is why I would say this will be a 5-star read for. This feels like a foggy run pairing, the kind where visibility drops, sound softens, and everything feels slightly off. The next one is Caller Unknown by Gillian McAllister. Caller Unknown by Gillian McAllister centers around a mysterious phone call that sets off shifting timelines, cause and effect spirals, and impossible choices. This feels like it is going to be similar to the style of Wrong Place, Wrong Time, very that high concept thriller style. It's gonna blend time weirdness, identity pressures, emotional chaos in that certain Gillian McAllister way that just is so subtle but clear, just keeps layering one decision after another. Based on my reading and track record with her books, I can definitely see this being a 5-star prediction for me. This feels like a speedrun pairing, quick feet, sharp turns, and that high adrenaline focus where you're trying to stay one step ahead of what's coming. You Did Nothing Wrong by C.J. Drew looks like it's going to be a very emotional book centered around trauma, survival, and the complicated aftermath of living through something so traumatic. It focuses on two people who are bonded together in this pain and these difficult choices. I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit more lyrical in writing, some quiet introspection, rather than some more plot-heavy moments. Definitely feels like there's going to be some emotional weight that is maybe a little bit more subtle as opposed to explosive and in your face. That kind of soft, gentle devastation can be done so well. This feels like a golden hour run pairing, the warm lights, steady miles, and soft breath right before the emotions capture. One Day You're My Husband by Rosie Walsh, following two people after they are connected on some impossible off-chance moments, their understanding of love and timing and fate. It seems like it's going to focus more on the fallout of that emotional twist and shocks rather than the actual emotional shocks and fallout, if that makes any sense. Feels like it's going to be very cozy on the surface with a lot of emotional undercurrent underneath. Another one of those great comfort meets devastation books that really gets your mind thinking and your emotions feeling. This feels like a post-run coffee wearing warm socks, a hot drink, and a quiet moment before a story that's about to unravel you in the gentlest of ways. Now let's get into my backlist 5 stars. The first one's going to be With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. This is following a woman who's trying to hide from her past but realizes that it's catching up to her, and it's super close to catching up to her. I love Riley Sager, and from what I understand, this is going to really lean into that isolation, the paranoia, and psychological tension that he can do such a fantastic job with. It appears to unravel the secrets layer by layer rather than all at once, giving that very claustrophobic sense that Riley Sager can do really well. I have loved almost all of Riley Sager's books. Not all of them are 5 stars, but many of them are, and I'm getting all that 5-star energy from this. This feels like a rainy night run pairing, wet pavement, streetlight, shadows stretching too long, and that constant sense that something's just behind you. Next one is Friends in Napa by Sheila Yasmin Markar. This is following a group of longtime friends who are reuniting in wine country. However, their past is slowly bubbling up to the surface. This feels like it's going to lean into the messy group dynamics, shifting loyalties, that slow undercurrent tension that is building, about to explode. I really am hoping for the indulgent Napa fancy wine country setting, really playing against all the tension and the drama that is happening between the friends. I love a people behaving badly, the blowout of friendships, that's terrible to say, or like rich people having problems. And I feel like I'm going to get all of that from this. This feels like a bright summer run pairing golden light, warm air, and the slightly indulgent feeling where everything looks a little too cinematic. Next, we have The Mad Wife by Megan Church. This is a haunting, claustrophobic, historical story centered around a woman who's trapped, both emotionally, socially, physically, within the walls of her life. From everything that I've seen on this is a slow build tension rather than super explosively. I feel like that's just the energy that I am manifesting. It's going to be the very atmospheric, psychological pressure build up, constant sense of dread, quiet rebellion as it's simmering underneath the surface. I love these kind of life traps, thought-provoking stories. This just feels like the perfect slow burn, psychological twisting book that could really work. This feels like an early morning fog run, pairing the soft edges, muted sounds, and that eerie sterileness where it feels like the world is slowly closing in. The next one is going to be The Family Experiment by John Mark. This is following a very morally questionable experiment on a family as they're putting them under extreme psychological pressure. Feels like you're going to feel that pressure build as tensions get higher and the stakes get bigger until probably it's going to explode. It's going to bring in some of that tech or medical experimentation drama into the psychological suspense of the experiment. Just feels like they're going to slowly tear these people apart from the inside out. I like the idea of this kind of experiment, the conversations that could bring on cool experimentation and the morally grayness of some of those things. Another great psychological thriller from John Mars. The One is one of my favorite books of his. This feels like a tempo pairing run, a steady push, controlled intensity, and emotional tension simmering under every step. The last book is I Bet You Look Good in a Coffin by Katie Brent. This is the second in the series. I absolutely adored the first one. Hopefully that kind of dark, comedic, chaotic energy from the first one is going to continue to follow Kitty as she stumbles into these terrible choices, chaotic situations, unfortunate situations. Again, blend that really funny humor that it had, but also with the very open violence, chaos, deeply emotional choices. I'm hoping this continues to be fast-paced, unhinged, intentionally unserious, just really leaning into that humor with such a dark undertone. Given how much I absolutely adored the first one, I have no doubt that this one will continue to bring in that 5-star energy for me. This feels like a chaotic mid-run pairing, goofy, bouncy, slightly unhinged energy when you're half laughing, half questioning your life choices. And that is our 5-star predictions for 2026, both 2026 releases and backlisting. Tell me, what would your 2026 book prediction be? I can always use more suggestions. And also, what kind of run would you pair with? If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to join us back here for more book and running chaos and fun. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, witches.